podcast. Your host Hunter Twisdale, and then got my special guest Austin Brown.
Sir, how's it going, brother?
And I'm blessed as ever. How are you?
Good, man. Doing good, doing good. Blessed and unstoppable. That's what I like to say.
Absolutely, brother. Uh, what's the weather like up there today? I'm here in Arkansas right now. It's kind of wet-ish today. It's kind of drying up a little bit and a little bit cold. It's supposed to warm up. What's it like up there, man?
Yeah, man. Well, as you can tell, I'm on the beach, right? This is Oregon, right? Nah, no, man. No, it was good. Memorial Day weekend, it was great. It was about mid 80s on Memorial Day, and then today it's going to be pushing 80 again. So it's time. It's getting to the summer weather. On the weather report, it's like, hey, we got some rain coming, but it's actually kind of disappeared from the weather app, and I think summertime's finally here, which is great because summer in Oregon, man, it's the best. We don't have humidity.
Right.
But we have the heat. It might get up to 100 a couple days, but that's about it.
Well, good deal, man. This is a really important question, and this question is going to be the basis on whether you and I can still be friends. Okay? Are you a Ducks fan?
No,
Thank God.
no, bro, no. I'm a Beaver fan. Have been forever.
Beaver. Who's the Beavers?
Oregon State,
Did they have a team?
they do. We do. Are they very good? They've seen some better days, but
So we're gonna have a little bit different of an approach on today's podcast. Gonna be boot camp to backlash. So
oh, yeah,
a little bit of fun here. You want to share a little story first, or do you want me to go first about uh,
yeah,
kind of like your experience, something that was really funny and awkward, and like the meeting you had with your captain or lieutenant colonel?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think the funniest story that comes to mind, I think basic training it wasn't difficult, man. But having to deal with all the BS, especially during the COVID stuff, that was the most annoying part. Like some days, hey, they tell us we had to wear a mask, and other days they told us we wouldn't have to. There was no really consistency. Like they didn't even know what they were doing. And then just constantly threatening people with like, hey, like your family can't come to graduation if you don't get the vaccine. How does that make sense? My family can't come if I don't get the vaccine. So there was things like that they were just trying to manipulate and coerce people into getting it. And thankfully, my tech school, my AIT, they weren't requiring graduates to come fully vaccinated to base. Other bases weren't like that. You had to get the vaccine before even leaving basic training. But one of the funniest stories I had was I got pink eye really, really bad during basic training. And it was so bad. Like it looked like I got punched in the face. My whole like side of my face and my eye was swollen shut. Like I never had it so bad in my life. And everybody nicknamed me Barn Cat because you know how barn cats, they're always missing one eye or something. And so that was my nickname, after that was Barn Cat. So that was probably one of the funnier stories that I have and that stuck with me. But man, it sucked. And I tried to go and get pink eye drops for it. And the med bay, they were like, no, you just have allergies. Here's some allergy eye drops, like clear away kind of eye drops, and that'll do. Dude, no, it wouldn't. It stuck around, and I had that thing for like 2 weeks. Just my eye was just throbbing, man. But
Well,
yeah, that was one of the funnier things, even though it kind of sucked too.
yeah. I had a nickname when I was in basic. They called me Chap
Chat.
because Uh, I mean, my basic NAIT was OSET, so it
Yeah.
was one station unit training. It was all together. There was no distinct like difference between the two. They were all kind of combined. We were getting smoked all the way up till graduation. Like didn't change like a lot of ones did. Um, I think that's just an infantry thing. But um, they called me Chap because I was struggling because I just got married in June and I left in July. So I was missing my wife, missing my family. Couldn't talk to them. We never got our phones or anything. So I started leading a Bible study every single night. so they called me Chap. So I had a nickname too. Um, so I thought that
That's
was kind of cool.
that's
Um,
cool, man. Yeah, we had
but
Bible study as well.
yeah, we went to like we did our little field training like FTXs and stuff, and one time we got new boots or whatever. The boot truck came. I'm sure you remember the boot truck. Uh, they came and I obviously had to get new boots. I had a lot of money I didn't have before. Let's buy me some boots. I bought me
Yeah.
boots and I got some really, really, really thin socks to go with those boots. So I said, it'll be all right. It'll help. You know, it's super easy to slide. It won't cause any issues. Well, it rained that next day. Instead of wearing my old Rockies I've been wearing that were in perfect condition, I wore my new Oakleys in the rain for I think it was like a 12-mile ruck that day. And it rubbed the back of my heel so bad that it rubbed blisters or whatever. And I didn't really think much of it. Went through the FTX. I was in pain. I was like, whatever, let's just keep going. It'll be done soon enough. Uh, did the FTX. We did ruck after ruck after ruck after ruck. And then when we got back, there were so many people during the FTX that quit. They're just like, hey, I think I got COVID. I need to go. So our first sergeant, he decided the best way to um, go about that because there were so many people that got COVID. Uh, he said, well, since so many people got COVID while we are on the FTX, we're going to quarantine in the woods behind our our company. So we spent like a week and a half, 2 weeks in the woods. Got back, my feet were in pain like no other, and then we stayed in the woods behind the company for another week. Well,
No
while
way.
dude, they didn't even bring drill sergeants out there. We were out there just sitting in a dead gum fire base. We had our formations, like everybody dug their foxholes, made their
Yeah.
no drill sergeants were out there checking on us, but like they'd come get us for breakfast, they'd come get us for lunch, or they'd bring us MREs for lunch, and then they'd come get us for supper.
So
Uh,
you
I,
get to go to the DFAC for dinner?
I actually don't even think we did any of that. I think we got
MREs all the way.
the whole time, yeah. But anyways, they didn't have any drill sergeants, so we had people out there like Vietnam era, like no shirts on, shirt tied around their head, and just going to attack the other platoons just for no reason. Like they don't have anything to attack them; they would just go sabotage, go steal something from them, and stuff like that. And I wanted to kind of be involved in that, but I couldn't because my feet were hurting so bad. So I ended up getting a drill sergeant to take me to med call. So I went to med call and got checked out by the nurses, and they gave me a bunch of stuff, and the the blisters were so bad on the back of my heels, it was all the way to the meat. And they said, why are you just not coming? I said, well, I didn't want to get recycled. I can't spend that much time away from my family. I needed to get it done. And they're like, don't do that again. You could have like got a really bad infection and like lost your foot. Don't do that. And I'm like, well,
Right.
but that was a pretty interesting time during basic, right there. There's plenty more, but that one was probably the one that sticks out the most because it was just insane. Like we got back and we're like, yeah, we get to sleep in our beds finally. Nope, sleeping in the woods for another week, and it's like, gosh dang, man.
Right. Even though they weren't the most comfortable beds, man, like when you get to sleep in the bed instead of out in the dirt, like it's a world of difference.
100%, dude. We had one drill sergeant. He was like 5'1", and I'm not very tall. You're a giant, like you're the Jolly Green Giant over there, but he was like 5'1", but he was built like a tank. And he came in one night, and it was late after they already told us to go to sleep, and there were still people up going to brush their teeth and stuff like that. And he yelled and said, "Everybody, get in your beds now!" And he was like, "You're going to I want you to lay down in the position of attention and stay there until you finally just drift off into a sleep." I'm like, all right. So it was interesting. He was, I don't know, I never could figure him out.
Yeah.
Honestly, he was a very interesting guy.
Yeah. How often did you guys have like a raid party in the middle of the night when you were sleeping?
Dude, I mean, it
I
just
remember
depends.
Yeah, we got it like once, like literally only once. I was like, this is dumb, man. Like, I thought it was gonna be way more difficult. Like, they're gonna do this more frequently, sort of thing. But they
They
did it
did
like
it.
the first night, and after that, it was like no more.
Yeah, they did it a lot. Just not every night or nothing, but I'd say once every couple weeks or every 3 weeks or so, they would just come in there and start smoking us and make us do stupid stuff in the bay, stuff like that. For no reason. It just depended on who the drill sergeant was. Some drill sergeants were just like when they
True.
came, they were there that night. They're just like in their office, probably taking a nap and sleeping, or just playing a video game or something. Or there were
Yeah.
some who didn't have a life and obviously was going through a divorce and took it out on everybody
Right.
that was there.
Right. No, I totally get it. So when you guys were quarantined in the woods, was it only those that didn't get it?
Dude,
Like
everyone, the
the
entire company.
whole the whole company?
Yes, the entire company. We had like I don't know, like 60 guys or more out in the woods just by ourselves.
Were your foxholes 6 feet apart?
Dude, they didn't even care. It was such a weird time. I don't think the drill sergeants even knew what to do because we were so the PT like where the field was and the track and everything was literally right here, and then we were like 500 feet in the woods beside that, like in the middle of like nowhere anybody ever goes,
Yeah.
and the drill sergeants didn't really know what was going on. Our first sergeant actually got fired or something. Like he got demoted and was under investigation and everything. It was a whole thing because he did a lot of really weird stuff with that situation. And then he smoked the entire company one time over something, and he apparently you can't smoke. Like he's not allowed to smoke people unless he makes them stretch first or something. It was something stupid.
Yeah, man, it got so weird during the last administration, like the certain things they had to follow. It was very soft, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think I can imagine things are a lot better now with some of the repeals they've done to policy.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, when we first got to Fort Leonard Wood, you got processing for a few days, and then it just kind of depended on which company you got shipped to, and then you'd head out. So some people were there, longer than that. I knew some people that had been there for several months because something had happened during processing that they couldn't finish, and they'd been sitting there day in, day out, just sitting in lines or helping out. And it was like, man, that would suck, dude.
That was the worst. We called it 30th AG. I don't know what they called it there. But man, the like soon as you get off the bus, and then before they even ship you off to wherever you're going to be training, and you're just there for a couple days getting very minimal sleep, dude, that was rough.
Yeah,
That was
no, yeah, right off the jump. And then, so when we finally got sent out to our company, we were quarantined for 2 weeks. That was the policy at the time, was that everybody had to quarantine for 2 weeks. So we sat in our barracks eating MREs, doing nothing for the first 2 weeks. And they called it the yellow phase, right? Like
yeah.
caution. And so that was an extra 2 weeks added on to the total of basic training, but just to sit there and twiddle our thumbs.
Mm-hmm. So MREs, what's your favorite? Go. There's only one right answer here. I guess there's a couple, but what's your favorite?
I mean, there's a few really good ones, and then there's a lot of really bad ones.
Yeah.
Like the egg noodle one, hated it. The pizza one though, and anything with the pastries in them, like the pound cakes.
The lemon poppy seed,
Yeah,
or the I like the tuna fish one.
yeah, I did too. A lot of people didn't, so I'll be like, I'll take yours.
Yeah, lemon pepper tuna, and it came with Reese's Pieces. Like, yeah,
Yeah. What's funny though is that even before the army, like I already been eating those tuna packs, man.
and lemon pepper tuna is fire. I don't care what anybody says. That's
They have
good.
a buffalo style too.
I haven't had that one. Is it good,
You won't go back to lemon pepper.
dude? I'm telling. I could probably if I wanted to do like a severe cut. Like when I got out of the army, I did personal training for a little bit.
Yeah.
If I wanted to do a severe cut, I could live off of tuna. Like
Oh yeah.
different. Like I could probably do that.
Yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, man, that was, I mean, basic training is what it is. You did very, we did very few fun things, it seemed like, and a lot of it was just, hurry up and wait. you know.
Man, hurry up and wait. Hurry up and wait. So what was it like for you with your meeting with the CO?
So that would have happened. So after basic training, and then down in Arizona at Fort Huachuca with our company commander at the time, and he was a great guy. You know, he was just following orders, and he didn't want to rub anybody the wrong way. He was a young guy too, captain, and so I mean, we told him, the few of us that were in our company. There was only two of us in our company on the base of about, I don't know, 1,800 probably personnel or so. It was a small base, but really just a handful that said no. And it was pretty straightforward. It's like, hey, this goes against our beliefs, and I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna get it. And we did the same thing with the flu shot at the time too, because it was fall time and they were rolling out seasonal flu shots. So I'm like, man, at this point, like, I'm never getting another vaccine in my life. Just tack that onto my resume of bad soldier, right? And so said no. I didn't submit a religious exemption either, because I knew that one, it would probably be denied anyways, which they ended up being denied, and that two, my no is my no. I don't need an excuse. I don't need to use my faith as a crutch to try to get me out of a situation. I stand on my faith, but I don't need to excuse it from my decision. Right? It's my belief. It's not gonna, um, you know, it's not going to, uh, the words I'm trying to find. It's
Yeah,
not going
I
to prevent me, or use it as an excuse. You know,
yeah.
it is what it is, and I'm still a U.S. citizen at the end of the day. And no, I don't sign all my rights away. I still have the Constitution backing my decisions.
Mhm.
And simple conversation in his office, and he was okay with it. And he respected that decision too. So it wasn't really a long drawn out process in the conversation, but figuring out what they were going to do and how they were going to get us actually out was a totally different story.
Right. Yeah, mine was not that easy going. My company commander at the time was kind of a jerk. Uh, and to the point where when I got out, they didn't put it under. So I got disability from the VA from jumping and stuff, like for my back and knees and things like that. But when I got out, I didn't find out till after I already got my DD 214 in hand and was gone that they put uh, instead of under honorable conditions, they put dishonorable discharge, because they chopped it up to me not following a direct order given to me. And I was like, no, that's because I looked into the religious exemption thing, and they told me there's no reason you should submit one. You're supposed to, if you didn't come in the army with it, you can't use it now, because apparently you can't find a new faith in the military. But um, so I didn't even try to do that because they said it wouldn't work. And then I had a huge list. I'm talking like it was in my notes on my phone, and it was probably, man, it was long, man. It was like super long of different scientific reasons on why I did not feel comfortable getting the COVID-19 vaccine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I had to meet with the company commander, I tried to show it to him. He said, "I'm not. I don't care. I'm. This is a direct order to take that vaccine. Are you denying a direct order?" I said, "Yeah. I'm not. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry, sir. I can't do that." And
Right.
then we had to talk to the medical officer or whatever, and I showed him that list, and he looked at it. He was like, "Okay, cool. So you're denying?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm not getting it. This is the reasons." He's like, "All right, cool." And he just wrote denied. He didn't even look at the list or reasoning or anything like that. And I was like, "This is ridiculous." But I didn't think it was going to come back to bite me or nothing. But when I got out and became a deputy, I had to go through the commission and everything and get an appeal, because they put dishonorable discharge on my thing, and they put um, for misconduct. So they had to call and find out what it was about, and I had to get a waiver from the Tennessee Commission of Law Enforcement to be able to become a cop because of that.
Oh, that's crazy, man. I mean, thankfully, I didn't have to go through all that, but obviously, you came out on the right end of things because now that stuff is it's null and void, and it's going to be reversed. And I don't know, have you submitted documents to get that reversed on the DD 214?
No, I actually there's a VA office here in Mountain View. I want to actually take my stuff up there and get that done because I was in long enough. I should be able to get my 9/11 like GI Bill stuff. I should be able to have that. I should be able to have my name on a little card that says veteran, which they never gave me, like the ID or
Yeah.
whatever. So I don't get any of my veteran benefits unless I go through
Oh,
GovX because I got GovX while I was still in.
yeah,
Uh,
with your military ID and all that.
yeah,
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I mean, thankfully, because my XO, he was very understanding and stuff, and there were other commanders on base that weren't, and so there was definitely a lot of um, being looked down upon and ostracized because of our decision. But I also I also got a GOMAR, so a general officer memorandum of reprimand, which basically says that you did not follow a direct order from a commanding officer, and your career is over at that point. You cannot promote anymore or any of that stuff. So I got that tacked on, and at that point, it's like, you know, what's the worst that could happen? And that was before the flu vaccine and all that stuff, and so that's why I was like, just tack it on there, man. So I have
right.
that document. I submitted that too for the military back pay lawsuit, which is going well, and you should have an answer for all that.
I got to get my stuff submitted, man. I got to do that today.
Yeah, no, do it, man. And they're awesome. The lawyers, the legal team is amazing. They've been giving us monthly updates. Things have been progressing. The Coast Guard is ahead of us right now, obviously because they're a different department, and everything with them was running just a little bit faster. But they're almost to the point of some really good news. I'll say that.
Yeah, dude, they took my final paycheck and said that it was paying back my bonus when I got out. Which at the time, my wife was pregnant with our first baby and was literally like 8 months and some odd days, about to pop, right? And
Right.
took my insurance, took everything away. Which my understanding from even talking to the medical team and VA and everybody that if it's a ongoing condition like a pregnancy, it's still supposed to be covered, but they took it away. I didn't have that covered, so I had to go get state insurance like quick to be able to cover the birth and stuff.
Yeah. No, it's crazy, man. I think everything that was taken from everybody in that situation and across other occupations too during that
Hmm.
time, I believe it'll all fully be restored and then some too. I think the Lord will pour out a big blessing on everybody that stood their ground,
Yeah.
and then those that felt like they didn't have an option but to get it and felt like they were backed into a corner. I would just say that, hey, don't feel like you're stuck or that there's going to be something bad happen to you medically or whatever. Like, I would say just have faith in the Lord that he'll wash your blood white as snow, and none of those plagues, those ill effects, those diseases will come near you or your household.
Hmm. Lamb of the Blood's over my door, man. We're good.
Yes, sir.
blood,
Yes,
blood,
sir.
blood of the Lamb, not Lamb of the Blood. Sorry. Um, but yeah, for sure. So I was about to say something and I just went blank. There you go. I can't stand when I do that, man.
All good, bro.
My camera keeps disconnecting. I don't know what that's about. There we go. I think it'll be good now. Sorry, man. I don't know what's up with my camera today.
Oh, you're good, man. We chop it up.
All right. So, a little bit of a turn here. How did the whole situation with the army and COVID and all this stuff, how did that kind of shape your faith? Because it helped my faith grow a lot personally.
Mhm.
And then also, it took me 3 years in law enforcement to really look into the aspect of God's money, real money, the money that God created for us to use that we don't use as much as we should today. Um, what, how did that make your faith grow? You know?
I think for me, just the whole experience, it was kind of the first time that I got to go and leave home and what was familiar and to be with absolutely nobody that I knew. And so I had to not refine my faith, but I think like revitalize it because I feel like for the longest time growing up and I had was blessed to have such a great home and great parents that I think that carries over with faith and how it kind of can be mommy and daddy's faith instead of your own. Yours hasn't really been quite put to the test yet, and this was a great learning experience on, being forged in fire and putting that faith to the test. And, you know, was really how we came out on top, you and I both, was because of that. And we stuck in the word, had Bible studies, throughout. Had my own personal Bible studies during that time, lots of prayer, lots of even chatting with folks back home, after we were able to get our devices back, and having community that, at least for me, was very supportive. But right there in the thick of it, in the heat of the battle, man, I mean, it's me and the Lord, and that was it. So having to rely on Him for wisdom on how to handle conversations, how to respond to things, how to not respond to things. So just exercising wisdom in everything that we did to make sure that we were in alignment with what God wanted us to do, and that was very solidly to not get the shot and trust that whatever his plan was going to be the best for us. And I can say that with 100% certainty that my life is 1,000 times better since having made those tough decisions.
Absolutely, I agree wholeheartedly. One thing that really sticks out in my mind where I had to just have faith in God to get me through it is when I was so we did our final FTX and we did our ruck to the mountain where we got to get our cross rifles and get the grog and the whole infantry thing that's a big deal. But before that, it was Christmas, so they sent us home for a week, and we got to see our family and stuff, and then we had to leave and come back to finish it up, right? And I was struggling, man. I was like, dude, I did not get enough time with my wife. I'm sick of it. I just want to go home. I miss my family. I miss my wife. I was just mentally not there. I was depressed, right? And we were going our final FTX, and we started setting up our fire base. And I dug my first foxhole, and I get I don't know like 2-3 feet deep into this foxhole, right? And there was a little metal cross, like a Christian cross, just buried that deep in the dirt. And the dirt was not disturbed that I could tell. Like it was nobody tried to build a fire base there before, and it was down there in that dirt. And I knew God's got me. I'm gonna be all right. And I thought it was very cool that God made that happen the way He did because we literally were there for 2 hours, and then our drill sergeant was like, "No, this isn't a good position," and we moved to a different location to build our fire base. So, um, that I think that was a way for God to let me know, hey, dude, I'm right here beside you. And ever since then, I just had to make sure that I stayed consistent in my faith because that's the only thing that's going to get me through anything. And especially with the COVID situation, I had a lot of people treat me very, very, very poorly because of that, because of my decision. Because I felt morally, if I got this shot, that not only did it was it wrong because I felt like there was a lot of things wrong with the shot. But morally, I felt like if I succumb to it, that I don't even know myself. You know what I mean? Like I'm letting them control me when I don't feel comfortable doing something. And that's not how I want my kids to remember me. I don't want anybody to think of me like that. I want somebody to be able to look at me and say, "Oh, Hunter sticks to his guns, even if everything's against him. He sticks to his guns." And I think God really helped me through that situation because man, they were treating me like garbage because we got activated to go to Afghanistan, and my platoon sergeant called me and said, "Hey, you can still come." I was like, "I want to. I'm on the way." And he's like, "But you got to get the COVID shot." And I said, "Sergeant, I'm not getting the shot. I want to come with you guys. I want to be there with my brothers, but I'm not getting the shot." And he said, "Well, you're not going." And I was like, "That's bogus." And then my platoon leader called me and said the same thing, and I told him the same thing. I'm not getting a shot. I want to go, but I'm not getting the shot. So they ended up we got activated and they left, and I stayed back or whatever with all the fallbacks or whatever. And man, it was just I found out after they got back from Afghanistan, there was so many people that didn't get the shot that they'd let go, but my leadership wouldn't let me. Dude, I was
Man,
so furious because dude, they it was a crap show from what I understand. I mean, my buddies were telling me some of the stories and stuff of what was going on over there, and um, how they had a missile strike. A lot of them got their CIBs because they had a missile strike on them, and hope it was crazy. So the fact that I couldn't be there to help in every way that I could, because I was an RTO, I was a machine gunner, and I helped out a lot with that kind of stuff, and I wasn't there to help do that, and that really bothered me. But I had a really good church there in North Carolina, Covenant Love, amazing church. If anybody ever is in North Carolina in the Fayetteville area, Covenant Love is one of the best churches I've ever been to, and the people are amazing. I met family there, the Coles. Uh, I met family there that they were closer to me more than some of my family that are blood. You know, it was insane, amazing people, and that really helped me and my wife during that time. Uh, and it helped grow my faith as well because, dude, the amount of community there was just so amazing, and it truly does. When you find an amazing church like that, and then you move away and you can't find one, dude, it's
right. No, I hear you, man. And our family kind of went through a similar situation during that whole time too, is because to be honest, I think the the pandemic was the the greatest kind of wake up call that our generation has seen. It kind of showed people's true colors, right? And where their faith truly lies. Is it um, faith in God or is it fear of man, sort of thing? And like you were talking about your convictions earlier, like if you God put those convictions inside of you, like that's Him talking to you. That's the Spirit moving through you. And if you were to bend on those, man, like what else are we willing to compromise on? And that was the same question I had for myself was, man, if I'm willing to bend on this, what else am I going to bend on in life, later on? After the 4 years of this contract is up, what after that? Who am I going to be? Who do I want my future family to know me as? My kids to see me as,
yeah,
sort of thing. And so I think that whole thing woke a lot of people up. It woke me up even before going into the military, seeing where things had headed because 2020 had happened, and then I went in 2021, and so I kind of saw how things were shaping. And for some reason, I was like, "Hey, I still want to go in. I still want to give it a shot because I would have regretted not at least trying, and being burnt in the end than if I hadn't done it at all."
right,
Um, because I've had lots of family members serve, and it's just something that I always wanted to do.
yeah,
And but I think that the whole thing was a really good determinant of, should we actually trust the government for everyday things, normal things in life? And quickly came to the conclusion, I don't think everybody saw it this way, but no, we shouldn't. And if anything, whatever the government says, we should probably do the opposite. And so then, coming back out of the military, starting a family, okay, let's talk about money. Let's talk about finances. And what does that look like? What's actually the value of our dollar? What is it actually doing? Is it, sitting there? Is it making me money? No, it's losing me money actually, because, just 5 years ago, January 2020, if you had $1,000 in the bank today, because of inflation, you'd only have about 760 of those dollars left because the
Right.
purchasing power has gone down. But if you were to have gold and silver, $1,000 gold and silver both in 2020, today, gold would be that 100,000, or not 100,000, 1,000 would be over $2,200 in value for gold and over $1,800 for silver. And so that's why I was like, man, like it's a no brainer, because I'm not going to continue to let something happen and just sit idly by. And you're the same way. And that's why we ended up in the situation we were in the military. Like, no, man, we got to do something about this. I'm not going to go with the flow and go with the masses and, be like sheep led to the slaughter. Not a
Yep.
shot. And so finding the truth, finding things of real value, was very important and eye opening. And that's how I landed on the gold and silver, train, or got the gold and silver bug, right? And so it's funny because I know the military kicked us out, but gold and silver, it's never going to kick us out.
Yep. Yeah, I think the military definitely played a role in my life. I think it really helped me mature in a lot of ways and be more grateful for the other some things that I have that I didn't have then. You know what I mean? I definitely think that I needed to do the military just because of the maturity alone. I was fresh out of college football, like was just like college mind, and so when I got in the army, it was a quick change. It's like, hey, that ain't how life is. You need to grow up, be an adult, set yourself apart. I mean, 90% of the people that I called friends since then were substantially older than me. I'm 24. Most of my friends were 4, 5, 6, 7, 8+ years older than me. Um, and I think that has to do with my time in the army helping me mature a little bit. I'm still immature in a lot of ways. My wife will tell you, but helped me mature in a lot of other ways.
Yeah,
As far as my journey with gold and silver, we grew up pretty poor and didn't have a lot growing up, man. We just didn't, like we were happy. We didn't know we were poor because we were just kids.
right.
But looking back, I know, hey, we were poor, and I never saw myself owning any kind of gold and silver. I've always liked the idea of it because I thought it was really cool. I didn't know anything about it, but I was like, man, gold and silver is expensive, right? I didn't know anything about it though. And about 3 years ago, I started at the sheriff's office in Tennessee, and that was going really well in the beginning, and then you know time goes on, and 2 years ago, Heath, my father-in-law, introduced this gold and silver business to me, and I was like, "That's cool. Seems like a pyramid scheme. I don't want nothing to do with it." So he was like, "Well, I'm going to get you all an account anyways. Use it for savings." I was like, "Okay, whatever." We didn't use it whatsoever. I didn't. I honestly forgot about it. And about I don't know January when I got out of the sheriff's office, he was like, "Hey man, have you looked at your business, like your gold and silver business?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Dude, you need to go check it out. Like for real, things are going on in this world. You need to be on top of that because that's where the money's at, man." I was like, "Oh, okay, Heath, whatever." So I went and looked in it, and there was like $100 and something dollars in gold, and my wife and I forgot we had the account. We didn't put any money into it whatsoever. But as soon as we got the account, that you know how they put instant gold into your account as soon as you sign up,
Yeah,
that grew so much in such a short amount of time that I was like, dude, there's some this
right.
there might be
At
some.
the time, it was only $5, I think, when you started at the time.
Yeah,
I think that's how it was for us. It was only $5 they put in there for signing up, and now they'll either put 20 or $40, which is it's crazy, man.
yeah. So I was like, man, there's something to this. I need to look into it more. And so I put like, I don't know, like $300 in there, and that was in like January, February. And as you know, we had a huge climb in that time this year. So I had almost double what I put in there before, or return. Like I put like 200 or 300, and I had like 600 in there. And I'm like, dude, this is pretty cool, man.
Right.
So I started really looking into it more, and I was already left the sheriff's office. I started doing car sales for a little bit, for about like 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks. Um, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I started doing this business while I was doing car sales in my free time, because there's a lot of free time when you're in car sales.
Yeah.
Um, so I was doing the business, and I was making I was making money. I was getting checks coming in. I was like, man, it's pretty cool. About 2 weeks later, I was able to make enough from the gold and silver business that it was I made more than I did in the gold and silver business than I did at the car dealership, and I was driving an hour and 10 to the car dealership every day, and I was like, doesn't really seem worth it. So I quit, and I started doing the gold and silver business full time, and it's changed my life. We got to go to Orlando, meet you and your dad and Daniel. How is Daniel? How's he doing?
Oh, he's great, man. He's a real estate guy too, and he's I don't know if you knew this. He's only 21, but or no,
Really?
22 now. He just turned 22, but another
Very.
young guy, and he's killing it, man. He loves it. I think it's so important that there's this younger generation. I'm heaping myself into that. I'm only 28, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we have this knowledge and this education because this is long-term stuff. It's not get rich quick schemes or any of that. No, this is long game. It's not. We're not talking about a 401k that's attached to the fiat currency system. That is, really more of a 201k now because of how much value it's lost, right? No, we're talking 5, 10, 20 years down the road, and create generational wealth to set up, an inheritance for our families. When no man, we love it out here. We're excited to have you guys when you finally travel out this way and introduce you to some other folks, and it'll be a blast, man. And it was such an honor and privilege to be able to meet you guys and start that relationship at the convention.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I feel the same way. We honestly were so we were selling our house at the time so we could get the camper and live in camper and travel full time. We were wanting to do that, and that's what we're doing currently. But at the time, our house was selling slowly. Like they kept pushing it back. They're like, "Hey, we need another week. We need another week for funding. We need another week for funding." And I was like, "Man, you're killing me, dude." Because I was hoping to close before, get the camper, and take it with us, right?
Hmm.
Well, that didn't work out, but I made a pretty substantial amount of money in the gold and silver business. I was able to pay for our trip anyways. So we went to Orlando, and we were on the verge of not going. I was like, "Hey, Virginia, we don't have to go. It's not that big a deal. We can go next year or something." And she's like, "No, I think it's really good for you to go. I think God's gonna bless it. You just gotta put effort." So I was like, "Okay, well." I planned the whole trip, the hotels, the everything, which I'm also, because of that trip, I'm a Wyndham Rewards member, Gold Pass holder. Not to brag, but
That's awesome.
dude, we stayed like 8 nights in Wyndham hotels, so I've got like points for days.
Yeah.
Uh, so I planned it all out. We went to Disney, we went to SeaWorld while we were down there. We stayed in a resort while we were there with like a water slide and a lazy river and a splash pad and a pool, and it was a good time. And we weren't gonna go, but my wife was telling me, "Hey, God's got a plan. Let's do it." And we went anyways, and we were able to meet you and David and Daniel, and we met so many other amazing people. We met people who literally live the town over from us in Arkansas. Uh, I met people who there was one lady, I can't her name was Susan, and we were eating. Me and my wife were eating at the VIP dinner, and we didn't know where to sit, so we sat down. The lady, Susan, and a few other ladies were sitting there. We're like, "Hey, y'all can sit there." So we sat down, and Susan just kept looking at us and just staring at us, and You know, she was a nice lady. We were just like, what's up? And she was like, I've met you before. I was like, uh, where? She's like, did y'all go to any other 7K events or whatever? And I was like, no, I haven't. She's like, are you sure? I was like, no, we haven't. She's like, hmm. I was like, do you go to Memphis often? She said, no. I said, well, do you know? I said my dad's name, and she's like, no, like, she's like, no, I don't know him, but I've seen y'all together before. I was like, I don't know. And she looked familiar. Like, I was thinking the same thing, but men don't typically, when they think something like that, say it out loud. She was a really nice lady, didn't really care. So she said it out loud. And I was thinking the same thing. Like, hey, I've seen this lady before. Like, she looks really familiar. Like, I haven't just seen her, but I know her. Like, I've had a conversation with her before. And she's like, I don't know what it is. I think I had dreams about y'all. I was like, that's
Wow.
that's crazy. Um, but I was able to use her the other day on a follow up, which was really nice and handy. But I thought that was really interesting that she was thinking the same thing I was thinking, that me, my wife, and her have met each other before, but we haven't. I don't. I think it might have. I don't know what it was. It's very weird. I don't even know how I got off on this tangent, but I had to share that with you because I thought it was very strange,
Well,
but
just
also,
the divine appointments.
yeah, absolutely. I like meeting you, man. I don't. If we would have, either one of us would have came in a minute later, we probably would have not met the entire time
True.
because there was so many. So that was pretty cool. That's God's timing for sure. I mean, you even said your dad was up in the front of the line, and you were like,
Yeah.
"Nah, I'm just gonna go to the back."
Oh, it's
And
true because he had jumped in line with somebody who was waiting for us already, who was like 20 people ahead of where you guys were at. And I was like, you know what, Daniel, bro, we're not in a rush. Let's just go to the back of the line here, and it's not a big deal. And then he came over right away. He was like, "Hey, I'm Heath," and you know how he is, of course. And the rest is history, man. So we really weren't even supposed to meet if it was, um, our my personal decision. But then some prompted us to go where y'all were at.
yeah, absolutely. And not even like if you were just like another person, it would have been like, yeah, cool, I met you. But the amount of similarities and stuff that we have from our backgrounds, I thought that was insane. Like, there's only one being that could do that, and his name is God or Jesus or
Right.
Yeshua, or, uh, whatever you want to. I mean, he has many names, but that would not have happened if it was anybody else. You know, that's
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
Yeah. No, it's true. People don't know this part, but I mean, even as far as hurting the same shoulder and doing the same thing and playing football, it's just crazy. Same injury.
Yep, it's definitely great. I popped mine out. My AC joint separated my junior year in high school in the semifinal game in the playoffs, and I just did like this little number, hoping to go back in, and I went back in the game, and did not. It just kept. It was awful. And then in college, the same exact thing happened, but it didn't. It wasn't as bad.
Yeah. Yeah. When in high school, I was playing quarterback at the time, got sacked, landed on it hard with the dude on top of me. And that's what did that. And then I re-aggravated actually in basic training too. So that was fun. But
Um, I wanted to share some of my stack with you, man. I was telling
yeah.
I was telling you about it, but I wanted to share with you. So these are the coins that my wife actually had stored up.
Oh yeah.
It's a wheat cent, which is this is like $150 right here. It's like a
Hmm.
giant. It's like a
It's
giant.
huge.
It's cool, so cool. I saw that and I was like, man, that's a giant penny. That's crazy.
Right.
And then she had this one, which is pure silver.
Airplane on there.
Yeah, yeah. It's got a a Boeing 777.
Sweet. What year is it?
1994.
Cool.
And then I had to buy at least a little bit of gold,
Which one is that?
That is it's a little Arethusa. I don't know if you can
Yeah,
see it.
I believe it's in there. It's hard to focus, but
I've got a bunch of them, but I really wanted to show you this one. I was telling you about it, but I haven't showed it to you yet.
oh yeah, yeah, the
Dude,
aristocrat stamp.
it is so cool. I did
I'll
not
have
expect
to,
it.
yeah, I'll have to show you. My favorite one is my 3 ounce Death Star
Yeah, dude, I have to see that one.
that I have. It's sweet, man. It's crazy how detailed it is. It's so
Man, they
cool.
do awesome work. And then obviously you got you have these ones, the Jesus ones.
Yep, we have the same exact ones too.
Sure do, man. I want to get the whole set.
Yeah, I think my dad has his somewhere. I don't know if it's here at the office or where, but they're sweet, man.
Yeah, I'm also about to make some more because that new My Mint thing, which is
Yeah,
incredible. So for those of you watching, our company now has a way to professionally make your own silver or copper coins, and it's not just painted like
yeah.
it's 3D, like you can see the what's it called?
The relief,
Yeah, the relief. It has relief on it, whereas
it's
if you
raised.
yeah, it's if you painted it, you wouldn't have any relief. It wouldn't be raised at all. But we can make our own coins, whatever we want, and it has relief on it, just like as if it was made professionally at a mint, because that's what it's done now.
Yeah,
So that is insane and super cool. And all of my friends and family are going to start getting their own personal coins for for
for
Christmas.
holidays and birthdays.
Man, I was telling them because she was trying to figure out what to get this family that we became friends with. They're about to have a baby, and she's like, "I don't know what to get them. Should I get them this or this or this?" I'm like, "Dude, they got 4 kids already. I don't think they need any of that." She's like, "Well, I'm not sure what to get them." I was like, "Dude, give me a picture of their whole family, and I can use AI to get another little baby boy put in there, and we
Hmm.
make a coin for them and give it to them." She's like, "You
Yeah,
She's like, "Do you think they'd like that?" I was like, "Are you kidding me? It's one of the only things you can give them that doesn't lose value when you give it to them."
and it's cool because it's one of a kind. It's
Exactly.
right when it's minted, man. It becomes one of a kind and it has its own rarity.
Yep. Mintage of one.
Yep,
So
yep.
that's really cool.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, we have some other pretty cool ideas what to how to use those custom coins and stuff, and it'll be fun.
Oh yeah, dude. That is honestly that's one of my favorite things that they've done so far. That is the coolest. Man, that is so cool. I wish they would do it for gold coins too. Maybe
Yeah,
they maybe they will in the future, but I feel like gold is just it's so expensive.
yeah.
Hesitant to do it.
Yeah, no, it's true because it's what buying an ounce of silver is a lot more affordable than trying to buy an ounce of gold right now. But with our Sound Money wallet, of course, anybody can start buying gold for as little as $1, and then one day, when you got enough in that account to actually buy a whole 1 ounce, golden eagle or a 1 ounce gold bar, you have that thing sent to you and you have it in hand, and that's the power of what we have our hands on and with our company.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you sign up for the autosaver and they send you collectible coins
Yeah.
like these or
Yep.
Beauties of the World, or you got your regular silver eagles with titles on them. You got your Pillars of Humanity, which are gold notes.
Yep.
I mean, there's no other company that's like ours. It's pretty amazing,
It's amazing. There's so many things to it. I mean, there's even health insurance,
Dude,
which is crazy. Gold backed IRAs.
it's insane. Health insurance, we get discounts off. Like so last year, before I was technically in 7K or in the business or whatever, I didn't do nothing with it.
Yeah.
But my he was, and we were looking for a flight because law enforcement and military get 2 free Margaritaville cruises a year, like free, completely free. You just have to pay your boarding costs and stuff. Like
Yeah.
for me, my wife, my 2 kids, we went on a 3-day cruise for like $500. Like insane.
That's
So
awesome.
we were going down there, and we had to go all the way to South Florida, and we were trying to figure out the best way to do it to get a flight and stuff. And we saved like pretty much cut the dead gum bill in half as far as flights go from using our benefits
Seven
through.
K Advantage.
Yeah. So it cut it in half. I was trying to use GovX and stuff like that, and it was still expensive. And
Yeah.
I reached out to Heath, and he found it on there for like half the cost. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. It was sweet. We flew Spirit Airlines because I don't really care. I've flown in daggum C-17s and C-130s. I'm not
Right.
picky,
Right.
but I mean, you can't beat that. I think it was like $500 for all of us to fly as well, something like that, which is
Yeah.
for a round
That's
trip.
awesome. Yeah, seven. I mean, 7K Advantage is great because like it's not something we have to pay for. It's just like what I think it's American Express. They say membership has its benefits. It's just one of the benefits that we have of being with the company. So it actually costs you more money to not be with us than just to be out on your own. You
Yeah.
know.
So one more thing before we log off, because I know we've been on for a hot minute, and I'm sorry I keep taking up all your time. But
No, man, we get to do it because we're not with each other every day.
it's true, man. Well, I'm working on that. I told my wife we need to move up to Oregon so I can be near Austin and his family, and she's
Yeah. Y'all are gonna come check it out. You're gonna love it. I'm gonna show you all the sights.
we probably will, but she really wants to live in Florida because she likes the heat. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, we got a camper. We can do both, so I'm not worried about it. But
Yeah.
we'll come up there in the summer and then go down to Florida in the winter.
There you go. You'll snowbird it.
Yeah, man. Anyways, did for those watching, have y'all seen this video in Austin? Have y'all seen this video where President Trump, is talking about going back to the gold standard? That's it, like his. It sounds from the video I watched. It sounds like that's his ultimate goal is to go back to the gold standard. It's going to be difficult to do so, but that's his ultimate goal. Did you see that?
I've heard about it. I didn't get to watch the full clip yet, but I know that it's part of the vision. And I know when he got elected, inauguration day, he said, "Hey, America, we're going back to a golden age." So, I mean, take with that what you will.
Yep, absolutely. So for those watching, what that means is they're going to have to revalue gold and silver. So, assuming that all of the gold in Fort Knox is still there, which everybody should know by now that it is not, but assuming that it is, gold is going to be revalued at least 8,000, give or take, and then silver is going to be revalued at least 1,000, give or take. Now, if Fort Knox is empty, like a lot of people think and believe, so that's going to be substantially different. And it's going to be substantially higher. But assuming it is there, and they revalue it at that is going to be a substantial growth. And any person who has gold and silver of any amount is going to be better off. But the more you get now, the better, because I mean, like I told you the other day, you get $3,200 worth of silver. That's about 100 ounces of silver. If they revalue it what it's at now, that's going to be $100,000 from $3,200.
Mhm.
This is the best time ever to get into the gold and silver, like by far, because the next 4 years there's going to be a lot of changes with the tariffs, with them trying to go back to the gold standard, all the stuff that's going on overseas with what's it called, the brick
Yep.
system, also trying to go back to the gold standard. Things are moving in the direction that us who invest in gold and silver, I say invest, but that's not a good word, who buy gold and silver. I
Or
don't like
own
to,
it.
yeah, I don't like to use the word invest because invest sounds like there's a potential downfall. There's no potential downfall with
Right.
gold and silver. I don't like to use that. But with the brick system going back to the gold standard, dude, this is the best time for literally anyone to get into this because there is nothing but growth from here. And
Right.
I mean, I don't like get rich quick schemes by any means, but in the next few years, if they do make that switch, the people who have the most gold and silver are going to get rich quick. Period.
It's
I
true. It's true.
mean, it's just a fact. There's no arguing. There's statistics and facts that show what is going on and how things are changing. And it's man, I wish my whole family would get into gold and silver, dude, because it's about to. it's about to change so much of people's
True.
lives.
It's true.
I haven't go check out Jim Rickard.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Yeah, man.
excited about.
It's no, that's it's great, and the reason for doing that is to offset the national debt, right? And so, sorry about that. To reset the national debt levels, and FDR did it back in the day as well when they collected, I'll say collected everyone's precious metals and had everybody turn in their gold for the same purpose. Took it back, then revalued it to offset the debt, and that's a whole other conversation for another time on why I think they did that too. But it's a great time to be alive. It's a great time to own precious metals, and don't think that you can't or that you aren't educated enough to do it. It's simple, man. Anybody can do it. We just ask that you just reach out, ask us a question, and we'll help you get some education.
Yep. That that fun army term KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. That's exactly what we do. Because if you start complicating things, man, it's you're just gonna get lost in the sauce and not know what's going on. So
Yeah.
keep it simple, stupid. And if you want to learn how you can invest in gold and silver, not invest, but get your hands on gold and silver at as little as $1, contact me at 901-403-2293 or my main man Austin here.
Yeah, 503-930-6162. I know we're in different parts of the country, so if you're nearby us, Oregon, Arkansas, we'll help you out.
Even if it's in the surrounding states or anything, or even if you're in
Yeah.
another country, just holler. We love to help. We're in 32 other countries. In the next year or so, we're supposed to be in like 50 or something. So
Yeah.
we're growing substantially. We're one of the most unknown, well-known gold and silver businesses in the world
It's true.
today,
Yeah.
and it's time to get in is now. So, I don't have anything else. Austin, you anything you wanna add
No,
or?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you having me on again, and I think we're gonna keep doing this. So I'm ready for the next one.
Sounds good, dude. Well, I'll holler at you next week, brother.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate you.
All right, y'all. Stay blessed.